Today's live video is all around how to heal your relationship with food. So I want to start off first by actually just telling you a little story. Last month I went to a friend's birthday party and then after lunch a cake came out and I had my friend say to me, "Do you want to have a slice of cake?" And I'm like, hell yeah, because I'm one to never say no to cake, especially at a birthday. To get the response from my friend of, that's okay, you can work it off tomorrow. And it just really made me think about how we as a society view our relationship with food. And is it really a case of we need to work off these foods that are deemed or perceived as being bad, like, cake, like chips, chocolate, pizza, those type of foods that are labeled bad? Like, as a society and as an individual, think about it now. How do you view food? How do you believe your relationship is with food at the moment? I'd love for you to pop it in the comments so, we can really start a conversation around this. So welcome, hello, my name is Kareen. I am the owner and head coach here at CRG Energy Fitness. We specialize in helping working parents build and create the body that they love so that you can feel strong and confident, as well as feeling amazing and naked. Now, I also help people go from a space of pain, working through the process of eliminating that pain for you by taking you through a rehab type process. Alrighty, so that is how we help parents to be the best and healthiest version that they can be. So a good relationship with food actually has nothing to do with the actual type of food that you eat or the diet that you follow as such. It's more around how and why you are choosing the foods that you choose or that you actually eat. Alrighty, and think about, how does a particular food make you feel? Like, is eating a pizza make you feel bad? Or is a salad, is that something that's good? Like, in my mind, or in my belief, is either is neither, and neither is either. So how is our perception around food? Because that's going to then determine the relationship that we have with food. And if we're labeling foods good or bad, then that's a relationship with food that we then need to look at to start improving. Are you someone that skips meals because you ate bad the day before? Or are you someone that counts calories with every single meal that you eat? Do you have a history of yo-yoing from diet to diet and trying the latest fad diet because you believe that's going to be the next best fix for you? Are you always looking for the low carb option or the low fat options of foods, believing that that is then a healthier alternative or a healthier choice for you? Do you do extra exercise to burn off the slice of cake that you ate or the chocolate bar that you just had? Do you feel guilty or ashamed or any type of anxiety around your food choices or around eating? Are you someone that will avoid eating certain foods out in public, yet when you come home, you actually binge eat them when you get home because you're embarrassed or fearful of what someone may think or say about, the types of foods that you're eating? So if you're experiencing, or if you do experience any of these feelings, know that you're not alone. Like, I speak to a lot of parents, a lot of people that have these same fears and struggle to have that really healthy relationship with food. So forming a healthy relationship with food is a conscious effort, and it will take time. Like anything that we want as a meaningful relationship within our life, it is going to take morning. It's going to take some time. So another story I wanted to share with you as well, like often when I'm out in social environments, I've gone to meet up with friends or having dinner, I'll often get my friends or, people that I'm in the social environments saying to me, oh, wow, you've just ordered, some chips, or you're eating chips, so that's okay if I eat them then, or you're having another drink, so I'm allowed to have another drink. Which I just find is really quite interesting, and it usually leads to then a really interesting conversation with the person that I'm with, just in relation or in regards to then how they view food and what relationship that they actually have with food. And even with myself, up until a couple of years ago, I would also think, oh God, I can't order chips with this meal. I've got to order the potato because that's the healthier option. The whole time really wanting the chips, but thinking, well, I can't eat them because they're not healthy. So, looking at improving that relationship with food, where we're not viewing it as good or as bad. So either way, that's the conscious practice that it takes to then heal and nurture and really love ourselves and view food as more than simply, fuel that fuels our body. I want you to just observe and, consider and how many times and how many, in situations, how, those thoughts that I had brought up before, how many times do you experience those? Alrighty, and how many times, notice how many times that you actually say or, do those actions. Now, and I'm not saying that either is good or is bad. No, not at all. I think it depends on the person, and it also then depends on the goal, so where you're wanting to go. In my experience, these types of thoughts around food and around the style of eating aren't always conducive to a healthy or a healthier relationship with food. Wouldn't you love to just be able to eat any food that you wanted to eat and not have a guilt, a thought of guilt or a thought of shame or an anxious thought around that food? Wouldn't that be amazing? So how do we actually improve the relationship with food? Alrighty, so I believe that having a good relationship with food is giving yourself that unconditional permission to enjoy the foods that you want to eat. So the foods that allow you to feel physically and mentally good without having those thoughts behind it that are not serving us in that space, and not having that guilt or where we're labeling foods as good or as bad. So achieving that good relationship with food isn't something that we can achieve overnight. Rather, it's something that we work on throughout our whole entire life. Like anything to do with health and to do with fitness, or even any meaningful relationship, it's something that we work on and something that we nurture. And that we have the opportunity to improve day in and day out. And I think it's important to, realize and understand that food is so much more than just something that can fuel your body. Like as humans, compared to animals go out to eat for survival. Whereas us as humans, there's many different reasons why we're eating. Like, yes, absolutely, survival is one of those things, but, we eat in a social environment. We do it for culture, for tradition. We eat for pleasure. There's a number of different reasons why we eat. And I think when we can start to view food as more than just that, or more than simply that fuel source, that's when we have the opportunity to really improve the relationship with food. Alrighty, so here are some key strategies that we can apply to immediately start to nurture and start to improve and start to heal the relationship that we have with food. So number one, give yourself that unconditional permission to eat. Alrighty, so one of the first, a good and a healthy sign of a healthy relationship with food is allowing yourself the permission to eat the food. Alrighty, and not having those good or those bad labels about certain types of foods. Because when we're putting those rules around what we can eat, what we can't eat, we're starting to fall into that restriction and that deprivation stage and that all or nothing mindset. And that can really, hamper us, and it can really be quite damaging to our mindset and also to our relationship and how we actually view food and how we then deal with food in that sense. So be flexible with your food choices. So tip number 2, eat when you're hungry. Like when we're born and as children, we're able to actually listen to and hear our natural satiety cues, so that natural feeling of fullness. And you'll experience this if you've got children yourself. Like, how many times will your kids actually say, I'm not hungry, I don't want to eat it? And not from the point of them, not wanting to eat it as such, but it's because they're not hungry. And kids they'll never go hungry as such. Like, I used to worry, with my daughter, when she wouldn't eat something, I'd be like, no, but you've got to eat, it's dinner time or whatever, or you'll go hungry. Yet what I've learned over her 8 years is she will never actually go hungry. Like, if she is hungry, and even if it's something that she, isn't preferably wanting to eat, she will eat it if she is hungry. So children are able to really hone in on and able to determine when they are full and when they are and aren't hungry. And I think us as adults, we lose that, within the diet culture that we're surrounded with in society, saying we've got to eat this and we've got to eat a certain number of calories per day because we're, wanting to look a certain way. So, being able to then being able to then allow our natural hunger cues and be able to hear them, like listen for them and actually hear them, and then nurture them and nourish them in that sense. That is going to be so, so valuable. And again, it's something that it's going to be a learned practice for us, because we're so used to as well eating at certain times of the day because it's breakfast time or because it's lunchtime, or at work we have a lunch break at a certain time, so we're forced to eat at certain times. But actually learning to listen to your natural body's hunger cues it's a challenging thing, but yet so rewarding in that sense. Tip number 3 is practice mindful eating. And it literally means exactly that. So be in the moment and be super mindful around the foods that you're eating and be fully present in the moment. So slow down and actually savor your food. Like, allow it to fill your mouth. Enjoy the texture, enjoy the taste of it, the smell. Chew your food slowly and really learn which foods that you actually enjoy. And a big one here with mindful eating is minimize your distractions. So get rid of your phone, turn off the TV, and just sit and really take in the food that you're about to eat. Alrighty, and slowing down that eating process also helps with our digestion in that sense as well. So if we're feeling maybe bloated or having digestion issues, that can be another reason why we don't always have the best relationship with food as well, because we're experiencing, off-putting, I guess, side effects, so to speak, from eating. So that can be quite, quite disruptive in that sense as well. But at the same time, in saying that, if something is causing your tummy upset or causing you bloating, take note of that and actually dig a little bit deeper, because it's your body telling you a message. It's your body letting you know it's not, in agreement with that particular food. Maybe it's dairy, maybe it's wheat. They're some of the common ones. It could be nuts, that cause gastric distress or indigestion or digestion issues. So actually take note of that and dig a little bit deeper into that one. Tip number 4 is avoid justifying your food choices. So just imagine a life where you don't have to actually justify which food you're choosing to eat and which food you're choosing not to eat. Well, that life is possible. You just have to reach out your hand and pull it in. So for most of us, we find ourselves, giving an explanation as to why we're eating a certain food, or, I have to have a salad for dinner tonight because I didn't get time to work out. Or it could be, I've had such a stressful day and, so-and-so upset me, so I'm having a bowl of ice cream to make myself feel better. Like, they're all, you justifying your food choices, and that's then putting them in the basket of labeling certain foods good or certain foods bad and attaching certain emotions to that. So when we can step back and separate ourselves from those labels, then we're able to really embrace the journey and really embrace the relationship then that we have with food, and we're able to heal in that space as well, which is an amazing feeling. I really hope you enjoyed my video today. If you need or if you'd like some more support when it comes to food, when it comes to exercise, mindset, motivation, then that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm all about. I'm passionate about helping working mums and dads to live their most healthiest and their best version, so that we can be the best role model that we can be for our little kids, our little eyes that are there watching us, because they don't only do what we say for them to do. In fact, a lot of the time they don't do that anyway. They learn by watching us and by hearing what we're saying, and even the words that we're not saying out loud. So be really conscious of that. Thanks so much for tuning in. I do appreciate your time. I would love for you to put in the comments below your biggest takeaway from today, and any of those tips that you might be inquisitive or be curious about.